Hello everyone, so nice to be here. Thanks for being on the other side. We are very happy to be here with Joanna Świątkowska, the Secretary General of the European Cybersecurity Organisation, ECSO. So thank you, Joanna, for joining us today. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is really important for us that you could make it to this trip in Spain and share with us all the initiative and what you are doing at the European level to strengthen the cybersecurity posture of Europe. So thank you very much for that work. And well, talking about the cybersecurity culture, we would like to know what is your view and how mature is the cybersecurity posture in Europe these days?
Yeah, thank you for this very important question. I believe that the level of cybersecurity culture in Europe is uneven. So there are significant differences when it comes to different sectors, but also different types of entities. Let me give you a couple of examples. I do believe that there are some sectors and industries that, due to many different reasons, for instance, because of the severity of and impact of the services that they provide to society, they are better, let's say, prepared to invest in cybersecurity. And they are also very often scrutinized by regulators. So because of that, they are better prepared to invest and to boost their cybersecurity posture. So for instance, the financial sector, or the other example could be the energy sector, I would say that they are at the forefront of the cybersecurity culture. On the other side, there are some sectors that unfortunately, again, due to many different reasons, maybe are not so well prepared. One of those could be the health sector, unfortunately, even though this is such an important sector for entire Europe, due to the very often lack of awareness but also lack of sufficient resources, they are maybe not that well prepared to combat cybersecurity threats. There is also a significant difference between large entities and small and medium enterprises. Unfortunately, SMEs very often, again, lack understanding how important cybersecurity is and that they should also prepare themselves to combat cyber threats, and very often they're less prepared.
Yeah, that's a pity, because there are a lot of resources also from the European community and even a country level that can help all these small and medium companies to better their cybersecurity posture, and sometimes they just don't know about those resources.
Very often they don't know, and on top of that, very often it's enough to introduce a very baseline security controls to significantly improve your cybersecurity posture. So it's not always, the matter of investing tons of money or spending a lot of resources. Sometimes very basic controls can help tremendously. But lack of awareness, lack of understanding how cybersecurity important is, unfortunately creates this situation when we do see this issue.
So a lot of work to do.
There is a lot of work to do, yes.
So also we are hearing a lot about the regulations, how this European normative is sometimes hidden, the development of the different companies and in front of other solutions coming from other part of the world. So how do you perceive that this regulation is really reshaping our cybersecurity posture?
I believe that there are two sides of this story, if you will. On the one hand side, I do believe that some regulations are truly needed. I mean, cybersecurity is just too important to be left without certain requirements, certain obligations. There is also, I would say, pro-market growth side of the regulatory landscape, simply because it creates awareness. It imposes certain requirements on companies, so they need to invest in cybersecurity, they need to start thinking about cybersecurity, so it impacts also the market from the positive point of view, right? Because you simply need to have services or products available on the market to basically help those entities to implement different regulations. The third element, from the positive point of view, is the fact that because of the regulations, and I can give you a very concrete example, NIS2 directive, there are certain obligations on the top management level, and basically those responsibilities are assigned to them. Accountability is assigned to them. So all of a sudden, they need to also make sure that their own companies are basically investing in cybersecurity. So that creates this culture, this positive impact on the market. On the other hand, unfortunately, because of the way how regulations are very often created, they're just too difficult to handle. We have tons of different regulations, very often overlapping, very often redundant. Then different countries are implementing those regulations in very different ways. And from that point of view, the landscape is just too heavy, and many companies struggle to basically comply with those regulations, and on top of that, do business in an effective way.
Yeah, but as we always say, the regulation is an accelerator, and sometimes it's a way for companies to prioritize what they need to do. As you say, we need to have this regulation to have a focus on cybersecurity. But on the other hand, sometimes we have so many regulations that need to be simplified so companies can thrive.
The good news is that the European Commission seems to understand the challenge. So now I would say that we observe this significant focus on streamlining different regulations, making sure that they are being implemented in an effective way. And ECSO contributes to this dialogue quite strongly with our communities.
Yeah, good to hear that, Joanna. Thanks for that insight. There is another perception that we hear in the market. At the Raneos, we talk with a lot of clients in different sectors, different sizes, and the perception is always like cybersecurity slows down innovation, and that's something that is like in the market. But how can we reframe the narrative? How can, from European standpoint of view, can you help to shift that belief?
My answer is pretty simple. We need to tell everyone, loud and clear, there will be never digital transformation without cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is absolutely a fundamental element for our digital future. And it's not a cost, it's an investment. I mean, it's better to make sure that at least you have some basic controls in place and be prepared, rather than end up, I don't know, solving an unbelievable problem with a ransomware that can actually bring your business down. So I would definitely say that cybersecurity is an enabler, and not something that hampers your business operations.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes people forget that you have to be cyber secure from design, not after. So when you have everything set up, when you have your application up, your web going out, and then you think, oh, maybe it has to be cyber secure. You say, well, cybersecurity should be a priority.
Absolutely. So yes, cybersecurity by design is one side of the challenge. I would also argue that we need to be prepared for the worst case scenario, meaning that cyber resilience should also be in place in each and every entity and organization.
Well, you know that there is a topic that I always like to address because it's close to my heart, because we work in this market, and there is a talent shortage that is very acute for many companies, and we would like to know, how do you address that? How you support from the European Cybersecurity Organization to tap all the talent available?
Yeah, indeed, this is one of the biggest challenges and not that easy to solve, unfortunately. However, we are trying to do as much as we can to improve the current situation. One of the things that we are doing is our platform, so-called Road to Cyber. I strongly encourage you to visit the platform, where you can find all different materials, resources to start your career in cybersecurity, but also to boost your career in cybersecurity if you are already in the field. There is also a possibility to find different jobs in cybersecurity all over Europe. So basically we work with different enterprises, with different entities, so they can promote the job specs, job openings on the platform for the candidates. And from the other side, the candidates can also put their profiles on the platform in order to put themselves on the market, so to say. But this is not only about this tool. What we are trying to do is also mobilize different communities, different groups of society to also attract them to cybersecurity market. Our sister foundation, Women for Cyber, works tremendously in this area. So this is absolutely a fantastic initiative that mobilizes also mainly girls and women to join cybersecurity field.
Good to hear that, because sometimes I think the messages doesn't go through, and we need to keep communicating and keep telling everyone the resources that there are available so people can address career in cybersecurity, and also small companies can at least have the first steps for their cybersecurity strategy and to strengthen their cybersecurity posture.
And I think it's important to also pass the message that cybersecurity is for everyone, truly. Regardless your background, regardless your previous career, you can really find your place in cybersecurity.
Yeah, that's right. That's one of my mottos, because I think sometimes we need to demystify cybersecurity and technology in general. Because sometimes the people and the society thinks that you need to have a specific profile or a specific engineering career to be working in this space, and it's not true. You can come from any background.
Absolutely, and I think it's important to stress that even though cybersecurity will always be, to some extent, about technologies, it's not only about technology, right? This is currently one of the most strategic challenges that we have, impacting, as we discussed, the highest level of business operations, political strategies, and so I think that there is a place for everyone.
Yeah, good to hear that. So thanks, Joanna. And another thing I would like you to explain to us is the initiative, the strategy you are following for the next 3 years or 5 years, I guess, in the European Cybersecurity Organization for all our audience to know.
Thank you so much for this question. Maybe it's important to explain in one sentence what ECSO is. So we are a pan-European private-public federation bringing together European cybersecurity communities. So we have, as our members, full spectrum of different cybersecurity stakeholders coming both from the private and public sector. So we have large companies, medium-sized companies, SMEs, but also universities, VCs specializing in cybersecurity, and then we have representatives of governments, regions, and so on. So thanks to that, we can and we should cover cybersecurity end-to-end. So we have full spectrum of different projects oriented at strengthening European cybersecurity, covering different elements. I'm gonna give you just a couple of them because it's too many to actually name them all during the interview. However, currently one of our priorities is to work to strengthen the European cybersecurity market. We do believe that we have a lot of wonderful European cybersecurity solutions, but we need to do more to not only present them to the world so people can buy them, can rely on them, but also to make sure that there is this culture for them to grow in Europe. So one of the things that we are currently trying to pull up is the European Cybersecurity Investment Platform, so basically a financial instrument in the form of a fund of funds that we try to deliver with some European institutions to make sure that European startups have enough high-risk capital present in Europe that they can use to grow. So we try to strengthen the market, and then we go, of course, into more operational activities. So we work, for instance, with our ECSO CISO community, 600 plus CISOs coming from all over Europe, with whom we work every single day to make sure that they have a platform to collaborate and work better on cybersecurity. That's just two examples.
Wow, this is a lot of work behind those initiatives that you just briefly told us. And well, I guess it's time for us to finish this interview. And I would like, before that you share with us what message would you really convey to the society, to the people who is looking at this short interview that you can, well, stress.
Yes, so I would encourage everyone to start thinking about cybersecurity, not only in terms of boosting their own cybersecurity posture, whereas whenever they are responsible for the organization or even their own resources, but I would like to also encourage everyone to consider entering cybersecurity as a field. These days, cybersecurity, as I mentioned, is an absolutely fundamental element of our economic competitiveness, is an absolutely fundamental element of our geopolitical situation. So by choosing to enter cybersecurity field is not gonna be only about your own career, although it's gonna be a wonderful career, but it's gonna be also about a larger mission, very important from the point of view of Europe as a whole.
Yeah, as we said, we protect the data, we protect the people, we protect the companies. So this is a very purpose-driven space. Absolutely. So thank you very much for being here with me today, Joanna. It's been a pleasure, as always, to know what is done and also to contribute to spread the word and make cybersecurity to be a priority for all the companies out there and for each one of us, because each one of us are always connected to different devices. So we need to also think about cybersecurity first every day and make it a priority in our lives. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.